Hi everybody, I'm Eric.
I'm Craig.
I'm Rich.
And we are Whose Turn Board Games. In today's video we're going to be talking about the game Everdell. It's going to be a little bit of a review for it. In Everdell you play a faction of a woodland creature and you're kind of trying to create your own city. Everdell is an actual tree that gave you life, that gave you sentience, and so you're trying to build like almost like a suburb off of Everdell in your own little plateau. It is a tableau builder, so you build a 15 card grid in some capacity, doesn't really matter overall. You draw cards, you get resources, you place workers, you change seasons, and there are of course various other rules with that. Overall, that being said, I'm going to say this game is absolutely beautiful. It is very, very gorgeous. I absolutely love looking at it. It's a lot of fun to look at. All the pieces are really nice. Everything's really well crafted overall. I like that a lot. And it can be a lot of fun. I see the potential, not so much in it, but just like it looks like it could be one of those games that could be one of your favorites. And I understand that why, just between the beauty and the mechanics of it all, but I think it just falls a little short from being perfect or really getting as much as what it gets online. So
yeah, like what Eric was saying, it is a very beautiful game. There's one aspect of its beauty that I don't really like, and that is the tree itself.
And that's why we make Craig put the tree together every time.
it's true. He hates it, just like Christmas.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of vertical 3D boards. So they could have easily had that entire aspect just on the board itself. There's no real reason to have it all separated and in different tiers on that.
Yeah. And it almost makes it harder to play because it's hard to read the cards that are sitting up on the shelf. Now I have to go knock over the tree to grab my workers when I prepare for the season. And then if you put the cards under the middle of the tree like the game wants you to, then you're just banging the tree 50 times during a game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of annoying to have it really. I mean, it looks good, but I mean, maybe we can just build the tree and have it off to the side. And
yeah.
We're in a tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's some things I dislike. There's certain cards that seem like they're a little bit more powerful than others, and there's a lot of the places in the board that are shareable. It's a little harder to tell. We finally figured out that it just doesn't have the circle that fully connects on the bottom, and they're slightly larger than the small ones. They're not extremely noticeably in different sizes, so it was a little bit harder to see at first. But one of the other things I dislike is there's 4 special border force places that you put out that are unique each time, and those also seem to be very fluctuating in how good they could be. There's 2 or 3 that I wish were in the game pretty much every time we played, and there's 2 or 3 of them that I could care less about. Like the 3 berry one, I honestly could care less about that one. I'd maybe go there once or twice at the very most. I don't even know if we really went on it when we played.
I don't think
And other than that, I think there needed to be other ways to get stone, because there's one singular place to get stone in this entire board, and it gives you one stone. And I would much rather just go down and discard 4 cards and get 2 stone, because cards in this game are relatively easy to come by.
Yeah, that's usually the thing I think to do, but then now you're wasting one of your worker placements, especially if it's early and you don't have many.
But you're wasting a worker placement getting 1 stone.
That's true.
This
that's why you get 2
Yeah,
stone.
you're calling cards to get the stone, so that is the whole point of that, is to, hey, you're getting rid of cards you don't want for stone that you need.
And the lack of stone getting makes buildings kind of like the courthouse, or it's a courthouse, right? Yeah, even more overpowered, because then you just build and grab the stone back right away every time, and now you basically permanently keep that stone. And some buildings require more than 1 stone, but a lot of them are just 1 stone, and so then you just kind of keep having it, and you never have to worry about stone again in your life.
Yeah, I think one thing that this game falls into the pit of is, like Craig said, there are some things that are very much overpowered, so if you start with them, you pretty much are guaranteed to win. there are some metas, there are some strategies overall, but it's like if you start with the courthouse, you're going to try to build that courthouse as fast as possible. And anything you build, you're getting free resources. Or the shopkeeper, any creature you build, you instantly get 1 berry back, which is basically, most of them are 2 or 3. Some exceptions for that, but
or a historian, draw a card for any creature or building you build.
Yeah. Yep.
Or
So
That's huge.
Innkeep, or the inn that lets you put a guy on it and you can build something for 3 less resources.
which, I mean, these are most of the cards. Like, not every single one is a winner, but most of them are very good. Sometimes you just do that, but also sometimes you're like,
Sometimes you don't. The last game we played, I got none of those cards we were talking about. I didn't see them the entire time and had no chance to get them.
yeah.
And it's like, okay.
And
great.
I got, I had no green cards, so I got nothing the first time I did the season. I got 0. I had nothing on my board when I did switch to the seasons. So I just gathered a bunch of resources because that was the cards that I was played.
Yeah.
And it was very frustrating, but it just comes down to that. And I think that these kind of games with the card draw mechanics, it really ultimately depends on your starting hand. Like Wingspan, like Arc Nova, like Korra. If you get the right card in your hand to start, you will win the game every time.
I feel like the big difference is, but at least for me, with a game like this or Wingspan or Earth compared to like Arc Nova. Arc Nova, I feel like, still has a bunch of other things where I feel I'm having fun playing the other aspects of it, and I can still get cards later. But these ones, I don't know, I just don't feel like I'm happy. There are times where it feels fun, where you get some big combos going, and that's cool. But if you don't have it going, it's just not a fun time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, on the topic of cards, one thing I also dislike about the game is there's a Meadow area in the middle that is like got 8 face-up cards that you can kind of choose from, and the only problem is you can't really choose from them at all because you can't draw from it unless you go have a specific card that comes up maybe in your game, or you manage to get certain cards in your own tableau or an opponent's tableau that you can go on. Otherwise, there's pretty much no way to get any of those cards from the middle except for in, I think it's this summer, the 2nd season. You'll be able to, when you switch seasons, you can draw 2 of them. Other than that,
Yeah, the Meadow is just a big tease. We'll just call it what it is, because we had it last game we played where we could not draw a single thing from the Meadow. So it was just kind of like, cool, there are 8 cards. I want 2 of them. I can't, until I get to summer, get any of them. So
Yeah, so unless you get the innkeeper, or the inn, and the dude from the cemetery, forgetting his name.
Gravekeeper, probably.
Yeah, Gravekeeper, something like that. The dude you can play off of if you have the Undertaker. Yes.
Yeah, the Undertaker.
Then you can grab some cards from the center. But even the Undertaker, I got to take 3 away, replace them, and then I get to choose one, and they all stunk. It's like, oh, great.
Yeah, got rid of a Bard and 2 other great cards, and oh, sweet, let me flip these over that are crap. All right.
I suppose I could have ended up taking those, but the Bard would have been better for Craig. You would have got the other, in Bard thing, but whatever.
Yeah. I definitely see what they're trying to do, and maybe the expansions help clear some of that up. This is, of course, the base game, but it really kind of falls flat for what it could be. I definitely think that beauty helps it, and the time does. I mean, really, it took us about an hour each time, hour and a half with learning, so it's a quick game. And one thing I do love is that you're not stuck waiting for other people.
Yeah.
Like, going between seasons. Like, not just a flat out, there are times where you want to wait and not play down all your cards, but you definitely want to keep moving until all of a sudden it's like, cool, I'm on the best spot right there. I'm not going to do that season. I'm going to make sure I do all these cards, so you guys can't go there. You're going to hate me for not moving my guy, but that's just part of the game.
Speaking of hating people, too, the Fool is probably the best card in the game. You play it on someone else's tableau, it both takes up a space and gives them negative points, and then they hate you forever. However, I mean, there are ways to get rid of it. So in the first game, we couldn't get rid of it, and so it was awesome. And then the second game, you can just, now it's just going to be meat for my graveyard.
yeah,
Dungeon.
But,
Yeah.
dungeon, or didn't you have a university or something that you were able to get rid of?
Yeah, the university is probably the most broken card in the game. Hey, you play a card, you can then refund it whenever you want to for extra stuff. Yeah, no, it's broken. But.
Yeah, because that allows you to, in the last round, last round or 2, you can start getting rid of your green cards that essentially are just a 1-point one point, not really worth much of else. And typically, of all the colors there are, usually it's green that you're going to have like 4 or 5 of, because they're the production cards. So you typically will have a few of those out, and then later in the game, when you're trying to call. That's one thing about this game, is I've noticed, is finding out ways to call your tableau to be able to return or get rid of it to open up more space is pretty much the way to win this game.
Yeah, I would agree. But again, there too, it just really comes down to meta and the card, how the cards fall, what the side things are. It really just comes down to it. So that being said, we're going to get right into numbers, because that's what you're here for. Let's be honest. I'm going to give this one a 7.2. I enjoy it. I respect what it tried to do. There are much better games out there. I really didn't like the fact that the rulebook was confusing in and of itself. Like, after reading it, we still were like, what in the F? How do you know when something's a shared spot or not, like he said? I don't like that. I want the instruction book should be clear, it should be understandable, it should be explaining the game. I don't really like the fact that this left a lot of questions. I like the fact there's an index and it kind of explained more things after that, but it did not do a lot of other stuff. So 7.2, we'll enjoy playing it. I respect what it is, but it is not something I would like to get to the table all the time.
Yeah, score-wise, I'd say it's probably like a 6.5 for me. It's not my favorite game that is out there. There's other games I would like to play. There's quite a few different expansions for this, so maybe with having some of those expansions, it might bump it up a little bit more. I haven't ever played with them, so I couldn't really tell you for sure, but I do know there's like 3 or 4 expansions, plus there's another standalone game for this. But as it sits, I do like the game, but there's just too many other games that I would choose to kind of play over it for now. But 6.5, I'd say, is a reasonable score for it.
Yeah, this is definitely, if you've been following us, this is not my kind of game. Just don't like Everdell, don't like Wingspan, don't like Earth. That being said, of these styles of games, I think I might inch towards this one over the other two, even though I think pretty much everyone else would go Wingspan than Earth or something. But I like the worker placement kind of part of it. And I mean, I guess they're all pretty beautiful, and it's a beautiful game. I'd probably give it like a 6.2, but I'm never going to really necessarily want to play it. But just, I guess, my thoughts and my order of things.
Yeah, understandable. There are better ones out there. Like I was saying, Earth, I think, is better for tableau building and for engine building, worker placement, everything like that. If you've ever played Lords of Waterdeep, I get a lot of vibes from Lords of Waterdeep for this game. I mentioned it a couple times when we were playing. Check that one out. I think they did what this game tried to do better, and that came out way before this one. So, hands down, it's almost not so much playing the same game, but very similar. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let us know in the comments down below about what you think of the game. If you enjoy it, if you have problems with it, if you think that the game needs to have like a certain expansion in order to be playable, let us know in the comments down below. Always like to read those and kind of get what other people are feeling about games. If you like the video, go ahead and give it a like. If you want to follow us on a board game journey, we do reviews of board games, good or bad, and we do how to play and set up board games, as well as just our thoughts on board games in general. If that sounds like your particular cup of tea, go and give us a subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. Otherwise, I've been Eric.
I'm Craig.
I'm Rich.
And we are Whose Turn?